So hello there, welcome to stage 47 of the Eddie Stobart, and this is going to be the last tyre of the main cab.
I've pounded the road from coast to coast, Yorkie and me rolling on. 'Cause a long day's run can be short on fun, without Yorkie to help me along.
So, right, so what we've got this week is not just a tyre, but we also have four 2.3 by 4mm PB screws, also labelled as DD03, which, although I'm going to be using them fairly shortly, I'm going to pop them straight into there. Right, so first thing we need to do then, so this tyre, you've seen it all before, so what we're going to do, although this is actually the fourth stage, the first stage is to assemble the wheel that we got in the previous issue. This one, remember when I did this and I had no I actually had no sound because I forgot to hit the button, but this is the first stage. However, I recommend going straight to fitting the tyre, and we'll plonk that in there, then we come back and then we can complete this. So what I need to do then is we need to put the two parts together. Now you'll see that there's 4 screw holes there, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and just like this tyre, these are equally spaced, so we need to line them all up. And just like before, so the 2.3 by 4mm screws, so these are the screws that we actually got with this issue. So we need 3 of those. We need 4 of them. That's interesting. So we got 4 screws, but 1 was spare. Obviously that's they're thinking about something else then. So what I'm going to do, have a little visual look, see if they're lined up. I think they are, so I'm just going to pop that first one in enough to bite, and then that's in fine. So what we'll do then is we'll pop the other one in. So my apologies for the slight break. I had something happen in the house. So the second one is now in just enough to bite, and I think that's going to be fine now. So this third one, that's in fine. So I feel that's in absolutely fine. So this fourth one, we can put that one in as far as it'll go, and we are screwing this into metal, so we can go in as far as it wants to go. But if we over tighten, we could possibly risk damaging the plastic. And then we go back to the third one. I think my screwdriver is just starting to go on the way out. There we go, that's in fine. And then we go back to either the first or the second one, doesn't matter which way round. Finish tightening these. That one is in fine. And that one is. So we just make sure that wheel is on fine, and that's fine, that's perfect. Right, so we now need to skip the next stage because we've already done it. So we popped it into water, and then what we need to do is take this out. Now I've run out of kitchen roll, so I'm having to use a cloth. But as I said before, don't use something that's lint free. Something like toilet paper, for example, is going to leave little bits behind. But you also want something that's very absorbent, something that's going to soak all of that moisture up. It's very warm in there and it's a little bit steamy, so you won't notice any moisture, but once it goes cold, that moisture will turn to water. So it's absolutely critical that you get every bit of moisture out of there. Now this isn't quite as absorbent as kitchen roll, so I'm going over it twice to make sure I've got it all out. Now if you don't want to sort of worry about the water and that, you can always pop this on a radiator. It is still summertime in Scotland, so I don't really want to put my heating on, but equally I could use a hairdryer, but I prefer to use the hot water method. So what we need to do now is get this onto there like that. So the way we'll do that is we'll pop that in, and you'll notice, sorry I meant to say, you got a rim there. This is where the tyre wants to sit, and also back there. It doesn't matter so much behind if it's not 100% accurate, because you won't see it, but we're all perfectionists here, aren't we? So we'll bring that tyre on there and there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it and keep pushing it and pulling it, push and pull until you've got it all on, and there we go. So once I've got it on, what I like to do is just pull it up a little bit. You see how I'm just pulling it upwards a little bit, and that just helps it to settle until we're happy with the result, which I think that is absolutely fine. Now don't rush this. This tyre is very warm and pliable. I could get that tyre off now. Once it goes cold, it's the only way. Like this one is so hard, I'm not getting that one off, but this one, because it's still warm, and you can see I can pull that off. So there is no rush on this. Really take your time. So the next step then is we want to attach this to make another double wheel, and I've got the wrong tyre. I've picked up a front tyre. I do apologise, bear with me one sec. So my apologies about that. I actually picked up the very first wheel that we did, and this is the other front wheel, and I thought it was a bit odd that it didn't fit, but this is the rear tyre, and we're going to end up with something looking like this. So we can see that this is going to go on the outside. So this tyre that we've just done is going to be the inside, and it's going to look like that. So what we need to do now then, you'll see there that we have 3 screw holes there, and we have 3 screw holes there, and we're also going to need the 2 screws that we got in this issue. Sorry, 3 screws, 3 of the 4 screws that we got in this issue, which is the 2.3 by 4mm PM screws. Sorry guys, the PM screws. Did I use PMs last time? DD03, DD03. Did I use? I hope I used those screws, otherwise I've used the wrong ones. So that's those screws in. So be a little bit careful here. You may not see it to the naked eye, but these 3 holes are not equally apart. Now if you're not sure, find something that you can measure with perhaps. So that's about 3 centimeters. That's a little bit short, 3 centimeters, and that is 3 centimeters. So that tells us that this is the top and these are the bottom ones. And do the same here. That's about 3 centimeters. That's about 3 centimeters, and this is a little bit short, not much. Do you see it's a little bit short? So we know that it should go in like this, and if you move it around, right, so what's going to happen here, there we go. Once it's correct, it should lock. Right, so this is locked in one place, but if you roll it around gently, it's not sitting right. And I don't know if you can tell, but the reason it's not sitting right is because they're not lined up. So what we'll do is we'll move it around again until we find the next hole, which is there, and that's not even going at all. There we go. So once you've got it to lock in, have a little feel, have a little wiggle, and it's not rotating, and the holes that are actually lining up is these 3 inner holes, not that outer one, sorry, the flat ones, not the sticky out ones. So you'll see there, that's how we're lining it up. So let's get that lined up again, and that feels odd. So, and that's because it's not lined up. So we keep, there we go, that feels really, really good. So do you see how that's gone in fine? So let me just show you that again. So I have a lock, but if you hold it up, you see it's at an angle. It's because the 3 points haven't lined up properly. So just like before, spend a little bit of time getting this lined up. There we go. Now what you might like to do, we're going to be putting 1 screw in at a time. So if you get something like a cocktail stick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ram that cocktail stick in there. That's not working. And that shouldn't allow it to move. It doesn't make a lot of difference. That's optional. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to pop 1 screw in. I'm going to make sure these are lined up together, have a look at them. Once we get 1 screw in, life should become a little bit easier. Right, and there we go. Now I'm doing my usual, just put a screw in enough to bite, and then that will enable me, because I may still have got this wrong, so we're doing a check and a double check. Now this should go in, which it does. Perfect. So now we've got 2 in. This third one should line up, because if those first 2 aren't lined up, it would usually indicate the third one isn't, and that has gone in absolutely perfect. There we go. So now we've got that in loose, so just in enough to bite. We can finish tightening those off, and then we'll do the second one. There we go. And do these as hard as you want, guys, because you're screwing 2 metal parts together. There we go. So look at that. I mean, it's movement because this tyre is still warm, so that's where you're getting the movement from. But if we do a comparison between the back tyres, you'll see they're absolutely fine. Once that cools down a little bit, that will be fine. So guys, that is my back wheels done, and my front wheels. I think that's the outside, so that will be the outside. God, that feels so much colder. And we've got a front wheel, 2 front wheels, and that is, in my opinion, the least interesting part done of the entire build. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there then, guys. That is that tyre done. That's actually this one, you can always tell because it's warmer. So the rear left inner wheel has been assembled and fitted to the outer wheel. A couple of interesting articles, but we're actually looking at next week now, which is the start of the chassis. So we have the front left chassis beam, front left bumper holder, spring holder, piston mount, fuel pump, cable, guide and screws. Exciting times, guys. So I'll catch you in the next issue.